Alright guys, I just thought I'd show you a little bit of, I don't know, a few ways that we can approach this assignment. And I'm not going to get super technical. This is mostly just to show sort of the process that we've got sort of at our disposal. First thing I want to do is I want to create my horizon line. And I'm going to do that sort of wherever. Doesn't really particularly matter where. But you see I've got my stroke up here set to black. It's at 1 point. And this looks fine. Then from there I'm going to decide where my vanishing points are going to be. And this is where it gets a little tricky because at my very core I like drawing. Okay, the software is sort of not my primary use or my primary tool of making art. And so what I want to do here is actually just find my vanishing points, similar to how I would in a drawing. So I'm going to make them kind of tall like this, and I'll just start right here like this. And how you do this or where they fit doesn't really matter, but it's that intersection right there that really matters, okay? And I do this big like this because we're going to sort of be working within the middle here and eventually cropping this all out. But figure I can put these guys in here if I want. I can change them around if I need to, but I think this is going to be where it works best for our demonstration here. So first thing I want to do is, find it sort of snaps to it, right? If we come into there, it usually gives us that little, intersect or whatever, notification, whatever you want to call it. And what I'm going to do here is, I don't know, let's pretend we're looking at a cube. So what I'm going to do is just hit this corner like this. I'm going to do this. And I'm holding the shift key when I want to do horizontal and vertical. Okay? And then we know that this side here needs to come down over here. Okay? And we'll start on this vanishing point here, find a point right there. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And you'll see that that all kind of comes together pretty nicely there. And then this is where the tricky part is. I'm then going to make a rectangle like that. Okay? So right now these are just lines. The vanishing, the lines pointing to the vanishing point are just lines. The horizon line and, the vanishing point there, those are just lines. But now we're dealing with shape. Okay? It's a two-dimensional shape. I'm going to make it gray. Okay? And I'm going to turn the stroke off. Oops. Get rid of you there. Okay, so now it looks like we're dealing with something like that. Now I want this to line up a little bit better on the bottom here, and see how it just kind of snaps to that spot there. And I bet it'll probably get a little closer there. Sure, that looks good. Now what I'm going to do is take my white arrow tool, and I'm going to sort of just single tap on that corner there, and I'm going to drag it here, grab this one here, drag it up. Again, I don't want to mess with my left to right, just vertical. And then there we are. Okay? Simple enough. We're then going to take another shape, try to get that somewhat close there. We'll go a little farther out. I'm going to, stroke turned off. The gray there, I'm going to darken this side because remember we're dealing with shading. So one side's going to need to be darker. Click on that. Drop it down. Drop it up. I don't think dropping it up is actually a thing. Okay. And now I can come back in and click on my lines. There we go. Get those a little bit lined up. Okay. Alright, so now I'm dealing with a cube. Or I guess it would be more like a box, like a shipping container now. But I'm going to come back here and I'm going to use my vanishing points again. Let's say this time I'm going to come in here and here. And I'm going to go vertical on this one here. Again, these are just guidelines, so it doesn't matter if they're too perfect or not. And I know we don't cover much perspective in here, but it is something that you can kind of play around with. Alright, so what is this mess that I've got going on here now? All right, so now we're starting to look at how, I mean, it's kind of looking hollow, right? So I can come in and using my shapes again, I'm going to, what am I going to do on this one? I'm going to, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start here first. And then I'm going to do a fill. We'll just do, we'll do super, nope, I want, sorry, stroke turned off. Then I'm going to do a fill. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, make sure I get my alignment good on that one. Good enough on that. Again, grab that A tool, the A button or white arrow, direct select. Oh, mouse did not like that. Okay, so now that shape is going to matter because what's going to happen is we're going to come in and we're going to do one of these. Okay, I'm going to make it black. Going to grab it like so. And then this is where we have to use our alignment tool, object, arrange, right, send backwards. And then there we are. So now I can delete my line. And you can see how we're starting to come along pretty nicely here. Right? So, maybe we want to change the floor color. We can do sort of the same idea up here. Take one of those little shapes and drop it in down here if we want to lighten that up, which we might. That would make sense to me. It would also distinguish the front from the back. But yeah, this is pretty much how you're going to be wanting to do some of these. And it's nice to be able to use that linear perspective to create some of these shapes. You can come in, go that route like that, stick it in there, and then you can overlap. Right, you can see how we've now got ourselves another structure back there. We can start working on this set of boxes as well. So anyway, this is really just to give you some ideas and sort of how the process can work, and it's still very similar to hand drawing perspective. So let me know if you guys have any questions, but I think this is a fun way of doing it. I mean, it can be pretty